Hey all, it's Nat here. Hope you're doing well. So I thought I would come on and would do a bit of making together. I have this bag here that is full of paper shopping bag bits. So what I've done is just cut them down. Now I've just sort of kept the side bits and all the side bits. I was going to say the front and back and the sides. That sounds appropriate, doesn't it? What do you call them all? Of course, you can use the base and the handles and all that, but we get so many. It'll take me forever to get through everything, so I thought we'd just work with these bits. Now, for today, I think I'll just use the sides. The front and back tend to be a bit not as creased, so they do work a bit better, but they also work okay for pages. So I think I'll put them aside because I might use some of them as pages. And I'll just keep two of the sides out for now. So I hope you're all healthy and enjoying some crafting. I've been out in the garden today and out at the bookshop doing the recycling and all that sort of thing. So a bit of time to craft now. So I just want to make some tag bases. I've made them out of this just previously on a video, and I love the way they turned out, and I thought it'd be great just to make them in bulk sometimes so they're ready to use. So as you can see, they are pretty crinkled, especially here, but I don't really mind that in the end because it just makes them look a bit more vintage and used. So I'm going to use my Helmer 450 for this. You could use PVA and paint it on and that to do this as well, although with your wetter glues you will get more wrinkles, and I thought they've sort of got enough wrinkles in, so I've decided to use my 450. So I fold it in half just so I know where the crease is, basically. That'll do. Now make sure my glue's coming out. Yep. It's a new bottle, so I've got to get it started. Just going along the bottom of my halfway crease. I will chop the messy edges off so the glue doesn't have to be right to the edges, but I want enough that the edges of my tags will hopefully be glued together, although we could go around them if any bits are unstuck with a fine tip bottle and fix that up. So just like that, really, and fold it over. Put that to the side to dry, and we'll do our other piece. It's lovely weather here in South Australia at the moment, perfect for gardening, so I'm trying to get all the veggies put out. Meant to do them a while back, and I did do a few a while back, and then we had a frost and they died, so I'm just trying to, it's not as simple as just going out planting things though, because I have to weed the plethora of weeds and then dig it all over, and by then I'm too tired to plant them. And then you've got to mulch them and water them. It's hard work, isn't it? But I'm determined this year to catch up on my garden. So put that one to the side as well. I can move that a bit now. So I did prepare some and let them dry. So now it's time to grab my cutter in. And I know the bottom edge where we folded it is straight, so I use that as my guide to begin with, and line that up on one of the lines on my cutter. And then just cut my crooked edges off. not worried about making these all a uniform size. It doesn't bother me. Although I was going to make some smaller ones. I might grab one more piece out and stick it together to do that with. Okay, let's just stick one more bit together. Get a few small ones out of just one of these pieces. So this time I'll fold it over that way for some smaller tags. So if you're doing real big bits like this, you probably are better off using your PVA or something. But this will do for now. Dry as well. Okay, then where were we up to when I interrupted myself? Did I cut all the edges off? I hope so. And then we want to just cut our tag. There is a crease in the middle there, so I sort of cut around that so I don't necessarily get it in my tag, not that it would really matter. And there's one almost tag done. Just repeat the process with the rest of them. So already we've got all of those, so I will finish cutting all the big ones and then we'll come back and cut the little one together. So I sat down for about 10 minutes and cut all of these tags out. So now I've got the bit that we folded to do the smaller ones here. So I will just chop these ends off. Long end, it's not going to fit, so I'll start chopping. Might do it about halfway. And then we can take that end off. Good, and I think maybe 3 tags out of each one. Again, I'm not too worried about whether they're all the same or not, although I could use the ruler on my cutter. That's what it's there for. I'll do for that one. Get this one about half. So the next thing we need to do is, see, some of these I might find are too long and I can go and cut them down a bit. So with this one, it's very creased at the top, so I might just cut that off there. Very crookedly. Probably should have used my cutter for that. Still crooked. Might end up quite short. Then we can cut a little triangles if we like. Now we've got the start of our tag. So do we want them that tall? Probably not. Let's have a look what we've got here. That one can be cut down. You could always use your corner rounder if you don't want to do your triangles as well for the tops. I do have a credit card, but I actually find it easier and neater to do it this way. So you can cut them to whatever length you want or leave them nice and long. But do try and cut them straighter than what I do. Then our small ones. Cut like that, and so I will finish cutting them all and then we'll come back for the next step. That was a bit of fun. I'll just keep putting Netflix on and watching a true crime story while I'm doing all this, and I get through it pretty quick. So we've got all of these tags now. There's my small ones and there's my larger ones. I did end up cutting the tops off of most of the large ones. I did leave a few nice and long, but I've kept the bits that I cut off, and I think I will try and use those for the next step, which is to, I've got a reinforcer punch. So you don't need to do this, but I like the way it looks, so I will do this. You can cut your reinforcers by cutting a small circle and then hole punching the middle out yourself if you don't have a reinforcer punch. So I'll just see how this gets through this. The only thing with this punch is you can't see through the other side. It's an odd punch. So it doesn't actually come out the bottom. It just sticks in there, really. So I will be watching a bit more Netflix and doing that. But the other thing I need to do also is get this last one punched. Now these are double thickness because I had glued them together, and maybe not glued properly in every little bit, but I can fix that if I get a tag and they're not glued properly. So yeah, as I said, because it's folded over, these are double thickness. You can do them double, you can do them single. I do like the way they look when they're doubled up like that. So what else I'll be doing with these two is I'll probably put them all on a bit of paper or something, and then I go around, this is going to be time consuming, but go around the edges with a bit of ink. I just like the way it looks, and do a little bit for the middle, and that will be a whole reinforcer. But that is optional. You definitely want to be watching a bit of Netflix while you're doing that. And the other thing I have to do is punch my holes in all my tags as well. Now, if I'm clever, I should be able to get a few. The only problem with them not being all the same size, but I could probably layer 2 or 3 up if I'm good. And get the middle-ish. and punch them, and that way it's not going to take so long to punch all the holes. If they're a bit off, oh well, doesn't matter. But they look all right to me. So I will continue doing all of that. So I punched all of my holes. I did between 3 and 5 at a time, and I got through those quick. And then I punched all my reinforcers and I inked around them. Wasn't as bad as I thought. As I said, you just put Netflix on and get through it pretty quick. So I've only inked the one side, so I've put them all in here so I can see the inked side, so I know it's the other side that I've got to glue. And some of these might come apart a little bit because they were off the top bits that didn't get all the glue. So if that's the case, you can just add some glue when you see them coming apart. But otherwise, I'm just using my Helmer tacky glue here to put them over the holes. Look, make a mess. Turn it over. Grab another reinforcer. Try and put a little less glue on. It's a bit better. I'll do one of the big ones. It's one of the real big ones. Do this one. And then you can grab your ink again. You could leave this and do it when you go to use the tag, but it does finish them off nicely. Just go around the edges. Now, because you've doubled the paper up on these, they've got a thickness that's comparable to just your normal craft cardstock. So they're quite nice and thick, which I really love. So we do have some wrinkles because the paper was wrinkled initially, but I do reckon that makes them look nice and vintage. You can even ink those wrinkles up a bit. So it's a great way of recycling the bags and making a pile of tags ready for future projects. So I'm going to put Netflix back on and finish doing all my hole reinforcers, then I'll come back and show them all to you. And that is it for our tag. So this is what I have. All of this now. Isn't that cool? So I've got those little ones. And then all of these and some really big ones. And as I said, they're a really nice weight. They're like cardstock. And they're still quite thin and light enough for your journals as well. So I really love those. So they're a bit crinkly in that, but I don't mind. I think they're awesome. Nice recycled tags to put in my journals. So that was great to get that job done. I have heaps of these now that I can embellish for all my journals that are coming up. So I'll be making a whole heap of these every now and again to keep my supplies up. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a go. So take care of yourselves, be good, and I will see you again soon. Bye.